I give you Eddie Adams, who will, I'm sure, tell you that he would not support a tax on gasoline that grants government more money than it grants the manufacturer. I'm pretty sure that.
Good morning. I'm Eddie Adams Jr., Republican candidate for U.S. Congress, Congressional District 11. Some of you may have heard part of this speech because I gave part of it on Thursday over in Tampa. Freedom is not free. Never has been free, never will be free. It is the duty of every generation to fight for it. And the one that don't will be the one that loses it. We're going to talk about on this great Memorial Day, this great country that we live in. Because part of what we live in, part of what we fight for, and the reason we are here is for those who come after us, our kids, our grandkids. This country is in the process of creating a debt that your children's children gonna have to pay for. Just think about that concept. And most of that debt comes from an entity called the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve Bank is responsible for income tax. The Federal Reserve Bank was tried twice before in American history, and twice before presidents allowed it to decease. It died, literally. But in 1913, one of our presidents decided that we needed another Federal Reserve. And that president, along with a couple of his good friends, J.P. Morgan and Rockefeller, John D., decided that the country needed a central bank. They made a central bank happen in 1913. They gave it to the country as a Christmas present. 2 years later, 3 years later, to support the central bank, we was in war. The first time this country had been in a world war, the first time the world has seen a world war is because the United States of America had a central bank that had enough money to fund it. But the central bank came to us, and it came to us with a time period. The central bank was only authorized by the president, Woodrow Wilson, for 20 years. So 20 years later, we got another president that should have expired the federal bank, and he didn't, because he was in the middle of creating something called the New Deal. And when the New Deal came, he had to have money to finance the New Deal. So he decided, well, we're gonna let the central bank go a little longer. And then came World War II. So again, the central bank, in order to finance these great wars we keep having, has to have money. So along with the central bank and income tax, the American people have this great debt that has been building on and on and on. Now we have wars, and we got a Congress full of people who don't understand a document that's called the Constitution of the United States of America. Every public servant swears an oath and allegiance to protect and defend it. Evidently, somewhere along the way in my parochial, state-funded educational system, I must have forgot the meaning of those words. Because there's nobody in Washington defending and protecting and making laws and rules and regulations that are in this little book called the Constitution. I have a pocket constitution. I'm quite sure several of you guys got a pocket constitution. And the folks in Washington, D.C. need to take a look at it. They just need to open it up and read a couple of those pages in there, because they mean things, they say things. And it was actually the absolute best document written on this planet other than the Bible. It actually tells us how to do all those things that they're currently up there not doing. And if they're not in the Constitution, they're not supposed to be doing it. Just for example, just to pull one off the top of my head, from any other place that we need to pull stuff from, think about this. Since World War II, Now in World War II, the United States Congress got together and in 3 days they declared war on one sheet of paper. That's what it took to declare World War II. And the United States Congress did that. So since World War II, this country should not have had another war. Because in the Constitution, they say the only people that can declare war is the Constitution. If it's not in the Constitution, then the U.S. Congress cannot do it. The U.S. Congress can declare war, not the president. These wars, these conflicts come around, and somebody corrected my math the other day. I said roughly every 20 years because things are cyclical, so plus or minus here or there, we have a war. Because the economy comes up, the economy goes down. And because the economy goes up and economies go down, we got to finance it. It's not many entities can finance war. We back to the central bank. So in this great country that we have some things, we have some people in Washington, D.C. that spends most of their time in a chamber. It's a dome chamber. And all they do is sit across the aisle and scream and holler at each other. And those are the only people they hear. They don't hear you, they don't hear me, they don't hear our concerns, and that's a problem. As long as they continue to not hear us, the people, their constituents, if they're paying their loyalties to people who pay their costs, then that's never going to be you and it's never going to be me. So we got to make a difference. And how do we make a difference? We get involved. Every one of you is obligated now because you've heard the word to get involved with this process. It is not somebody else's responsibility. That's our problem. We've made it somebody else's responsibility. Matter of fact, that's how I got into politics. I decided one day that I was no longer be part of the problem. I was going to be part of the solution. And they will listen because, again, at some point in time, they're going to have to get reelected. The ones not doing the work, the ones that don't understand that the Constitution is not just another document, the ones that don't know that they went to Washington to defend and to protect the principles that's in the Constitution, that they swore oath to do those things, those are the people who are going to be walking the street after this next election. Yeah. Because it's your job to make that happen. And I told the people the other day, if you ever come by my office, we got a little office there in Temple Terrace. At one end of that office, I have a gallery. I have some photos. I have a shrine to my granddaughter. I got one grandchild. She's 5 years old. And if you walk in that office, you'll see her and the rest of my family there. That keeps me grounded because the debts and the bills that we're creating now will become hers. On the other end of my office, you'll see an American flag. And it's a full-size American flag because it came off the casket of my brother. He was an ex-Marine. That keeps me grounded because, as I said when I started this speech out, freedom's not free. There have been many people who have died for our right to say and do the things that we're doing in this park today. It's only been two people, or two entities, that have given their life for you. That's Jesus Christ and the American troops. And it's up to us to make sure that neither one of them died in vain. And again, I tell you, this afternoon, thank you for your time, for your energy, and allowing us to do what we do. We will make a difference, and it starts here today, and it starts here with you. Thank you.